still talking to the 72 Charger project here. And then in this video, just kind of going through the upper control arm experience I had. So when I originally took this car apart, it was to go get the body work done. And when you have them sandblast a car, you don't really want any suspension parts on there, because all that fine glass, they used, I think, a number 6 glass, all gets inside of your suspension parts, and I needed to rebuild a lot of this anyway, but nevertheless I wanted to kind of, originally I was going to do like this immaculate rehab on it, but it just kind of got so costly. If you're planning on changing out the ball joints, go ahead and take them off before you take the upper control arm off. And the reason why is it's super hard to get that off. Maybe for auto mechanic shop would have that capability. The easiest way, from what I've gathered, was to buy this. I saw, you know, this particular socket is specific for this ball joint. It's on there pretty good. The ball joint is, and so I ended up needing to use this. This is about almost 6 feet. And really using the leverage on this as a breaker bar. The other thing is, when you're taking off your upper control arms, chances are you won't have any wheels to hold it up, so using jack stands. So you have to be very cognizant of whether when you're prying on this, you don't pull your car off of the jack stand. So I kind of rigged it up. The original side, I had somebody hold one side while I cranked. I didn't do a bunch of pulling. It was more of just a slow applied pressure. In some cases, I think in this one here, I had the breaker bar on and I was using my hips to apply pressure while holding onto the frame and trying to keep the car steady. Ideally, it'd be better if you had one person kind of supporting the car from coming off the jack stands and another person applying pressure on the top, because this will start to raise on you as you apply pressure. You certainly can get it off on your own. I just did it a few moments ago. But anyway, I got it off. Got a new one. I'm going to apply the grease on there. Apply some grease in here, clean this all up, and then I'm going to, tighten it down with this the other way, and then same process. I'm going to apply a very low pressure on the breaker bar, which is basically a fence post, and in a fashion where I'm not just kind of jerking the car off the jack stands. I may get it down to a certain tightness and then invite a couple people over for a few beers to kind of apply pressure on the top of this while holding the car. You won't need a lot of pressure. You just need somebody to keep it on there. Get it tight as you can, as safely as possible. And I'm really trying to not reinvent the wheel with these videos. This is just kind of a waste of your time and mine. But anyway, this is part number BJ10162. It's made in Taiwan. It's from PST. It was the kits for a 72 Charger. Comes with your jerk fitting and a Carter pin. You've got your castle nut, a washer, and a preliminary boot. There's another boot that goes on after. And so, cleaning up these threads here, just using a paper towel. Actually, I should get a wire, a rubber boot, the additional secondary rubber boot that will go on after that. It also comes with some super grease. I went ahead and just been using the same thing on everything. It's Specialized Superior Performance WD-40 True Multi-Purpose, extreme pressure, high heat, even marine conditions, long lasting. So we'll see. You know, do you have the Zerk fitting? I should be able to test, let you know over the road. But I want to clean out this like dirt that's been there for, you know, I don't know if my old man changed these ball joints or not, but if he didn't, these have been in there since 72. I would say that he might have changed it. And the other thing, looking at these, they kind of look flat or worn. I don't know if that's by design. But you can tell the threads on these new ones are kind of not, doesn't have that much grip on them. So maybe it's enough. You also have to realize the bolt on here, the castle nut's kind of keeping that clamped on. So it may, you know, it may be just the combination of the two. So it seems pretty smooth in there, not like smooth surface, but I meant like I'm not feeling like grit and stuff. Now you got to really take your time here because you don't want to. You strip this and you got to buy another one. I mean, you may as well just go out and buy something more fancier, like tubular ones, tubular control arms. And trying to keep the grease off the nut so it don't slip off. Paper towel. And then, you know, I'll go backwards till it finds like a nice home there. And then turn it until I can't turn it. Ratchet. Make sure it's not binding. Yeah, and as you tighten, start pulling this down. Now remember, pulling this way may jerk the car off. And then I'll use this smaller one to kind of get a couple turns in there. Essentially kind of keeping pressure here. Now I had a pretty good I had a hard time working it off, so I would certainly try to get as tight as possible. I'll check and see if there's a torque amount that I'm supposed to put these down to. I'm not, once I get the rest of the suspension on, I'll kind of go over everything and check and see which has torque specs. Alright, I'm going to leave it at that. Some people had trouble getting these boots on. I'm not seeing the same issues. So hopefully I'm doing it right. If I'm not, please let me know, so I can go back and fix that. Like as I work my way through getting the suspension on, I'll try to cover the areas where I didn't see like a direct video on it. I would just put grease on everything. Everything you're doing, just make sure it's greased up. It ain't gonna hurt. this through and let's do a slight bend on it. So I put the Zerk fitting in, and I put this rubber boot on. And some folks were having issues getting the boot on. I don't seem to have any issues. May have been a different control arm or different video. I think maybe for a Plymouth or something like that. I've got my new stops on there. Castle, nut, washer, boot, Zerk fit. Alright. Thanks and take care.